Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to Log Talk Aus San Antonio. My name is Thomas Bingham, joined alongside by Beyer and Producer Josh. We are the voices for sports talk in the Aus San Antonio Hill Country area. Excited to be back. Got a great show for y'all today. Obviously, we will dive right into the boys and girls basketball scene. It's that time of year. We're all excited. We will let you know how area wrestlers did at the state meet this past weekend. We will also continue with our season Pick Ems, and we will tell you our highs of the week. But before we get to all that, I got to bring everybody in. How's everyone doing today?
Thomas, I'm doing really well. You know, I've been thinking about this, and we've talked about it before, but we still need to figure out a name that's better than Producer Josh. What do you think, Josh?
I mean, you can call me Josh. You can call me Josh.
We'll just call you Josh.
You can do what everyone call me. Everyone used to call me Whack.
Whack.
I've been called, many nicknames. I'm a man of many names.
I like that because the producer usually has like a kind of a nickname of sorts. We call you Whack.
There you go. That'll work for me.
Whack the producer.
I don't know. I like Producer Josh.
Producer Josh.
Formal, everyone knows what he does.
It's formal. We address him as his title. It's good stuff. Welcome back, man. We took a week off last week, and are you rejuvenated and refreshed?
I'm ready for the show.
I am refreshed as well. I slept in this morning
Nice.
a little bit more than normal. By that, I mean I overslept my alarm. It's all good. We're here.
Excuse me. Who are you?
You need the extra sleep,
Who are
right?
you? I've never seen you before.
Yes. Oh, dude, you're right.
You got a haircut,
so
right?
I did get a haircut. Yeah, so the audience doesn't recognize me, but I got a haircut.
Good. I like it.
Thank you, man. It was time. It's been like 2 years since I actually cut my hair.
Oh, you did it yourself?
I did.
Nice.
Only one of them, though. The barber did the rest, and he did a good job. I have to give him credit for it. He chopped all of it off, and I think I went from rugged long hair look to dapper, cleaned up, kind of looking sharp look.
Yeah, you do.
And I'm okay with that. So I can make that. I mean, if you guys want to make that your high of the week, I'm all for it.
I mean, you're welcome to. I mean, as much as I like your haircut, I'm not going to make it my high of the week.
All right. Well, I will start with my high of the week because it is Texas Longhorn baseball related. They are off to an 8-0 start, Thomas.
How about the horns?
Those
I mean,
horns.
hey, let's not forget about our Lady Longhorns from the softball squad. 15-1.
15-1. I was going to rope that in there, but they're 15-1. And in a nice little statistic with the baseball team, the last 3 times they've started 8-0, they have gone to the College World Series Finals,
Nice.
and that was in 04, 05 when they won, and 09 when they played. I think they played LSU that year. Yeah,
That was a heartbreaking loss. I remember that.
Cameron Rupp. LSU had a football player.
Youngman was on that roster, I think, right?
He was a freshman, I think.
Yeah.
That was a good year for Texas baseball, and actually that's a good year for Texas sports in general.
Oh, yeah. I mean, football obviously made it to the final that year, too. At the end of the season, obviously.
There was a
January
tweet.
2010.
There was a tweet that asked, what's the smallest hill you're willing to die on? And somebody responded to that tweet and said, if Colt McCoy hadn't been injured, Texas would have beat Alabama in the 09 Rose Bowl. I will die on that hill as well. Like, that's a great response.
He's such a great college quarterback, and I think there was so many signs that pointed to, Texas victory had he been healthy the entire game.
Yeah, I will go down on that hill. Thomas, what's your high of the week?
My high of the week is family related.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, y'all know this, but maybe some of the audience doesn't know. I've had a lot of family historically, and then obviously throughout my life that's lived in South Texas. Well, got some more family that just moved back to Texas, but more specifically South Texas, Hill Country area, and they just got their house this past week. And this weekend coming up, I'm going to go and help them kind of work with the move-in and getting things straightened out. So
welcome back to them because you can leave Texas, but you always find your way back. Exactly, that's true too. And so, Whack, Producer Josh, are you originally from Texas?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
See,
Pleasanton, Texas, born and raised.
And then you moved off in the military.
That's right.
Yeah. But you found your way back.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, free college, you can't beat that.
No, you can't beat that.
Well, I did that too. I mean, not the military route, but
free college.
I left Texas for 4 years when I was growing up because my dad got relocated.
And you lived in California?
In Virginia, yeah.
California and Virginia. Look at you guys. I've been in Texas my whole life.
Hey, we can't always be that lucky.
Yeah, well, yeah. I see. It's kind of funny. That's one of those. The grass is greener because I'm like, yeah, I could leave Texas for a couple of years, but I'd come back.
The Houston area, San Antonio area, Austin area, and Dallas area. So
you, sir, are a nomad.
I definitely live all over.
Do you just have your bags packed right now,
basically,
like ready to go at a moment's notice?
For sure.
I'd imagine.
Before I get to my high of the week, is Texas gonna mess around and have Shaka Smart keep his job because they're about to beat West Virginia right now in basketball, and now it's like, are they gonna mess around, make the tournament, and have Shaka keep his job? Like, I cannot believe what I'm like. It's interesting seeing how this team is playing right now after they've just. Anyways, my high of the week.
No,
that's not gonna happen.
Even if they make the tournament, I mean, okay, so they make the tournament.
This would be a good thing to talk about, and we can discuss this at the end of the show because we've got something to introduce you guys to at the end of the show.
It's come for the show.
Wow,
exactly.
Nice little tease there. Let's go high of the week. We'll circle.
So I think my high of the week is having two of our ambassadors covering actually the UIL State Wrestling Tournament. Had Olivia Raymond and Megan O'Donnell both there. Took some awesome shots. Josh and Matt had nothing but great things to say about them. So if any of the photos that you see on VYPE.com for Josh talking about wrestling, those come from our VYPE ambassadors. So, I mean, I think that's actually a pretty good segue talking about them being at the wrestling, state wrestling, to talk about how our area athletes did at that event, Thomas.
What's next? Wrestling.
It was a great week, and obviously, a lot of our discussion today will be basketball related, but we have to talk.
We have to talk a little bit of
wrestling.
area.
So let's dive right into it. You have some of the top programs in Austin and San Antonio having individual winners in the Austin area in 6A. How about this? Luke Sloan of Austin Vandergrift beat San Antonio area program Schertz Clemens, one of their athletes, to Sean Cosby in the 6A 138. Always cool to have a Austin San Antonio battle.
And that was in the finals, right? Yeah.
And then another nearby program to Vandergrift, Cedar Park Vista Ridge in the 6A 152. Aaron Lofton, congratulations on winning that event. You had in the San Antonio area George Marsh of New Braunfels winning the 285 in 6A. In 5A, you had three different area schools have an individual champ, starting in the Austin area. Dripping Springs, Chase Warden, he won the 5A 152. You had Ben Bell, who's an all-around great athlete at Cedar Park. He won the 5A 220. I know he was a notable player for the football team as well. He won the 5A 220 of Cedar Park. And then on the girls' side, Trey Haynes of Cibolo Steel won the 6A 215. So boys and girls, Austin and San Antonio, a lot of champs right there.
Yeah, they're sprinkled. The area sprinkled themselves really well with how many champions they had. Even two of them, two area wrestlers competing in the finals. That's pretty awesome.
Well, it's crazy is obviously wrestling hasn't been a UIL sport as long as the other sports. And so for this area to have as much success this season, it says a lot about how quickly it's grown.
It's growing, and this is just an athletic area. We know that very well, Thomas. An interesting thing that we were talking about before we started the show, when we were talking about these area wrestling teams and those participating, what is the cutoff where the lower A schools don't have a wrestling team?
So in wrestling, it's 5A and 6A are classified. Now, you can bump yourself up if you have one of those types of sports programs or just an athlete that's going out for it. Swimming is the same way. Soccer goes 4A through 6A. But most sports are either 2 to 6A or 1 to 6A. So, if you are in one of those smart classifications and field a team, you're welcome to obviously bump yourself up.
That's interesting. Didn't know that. So Liberty Hill, because they're 4A, they could bump up and basically be 5A in wrestling if they wanted to. That's pretty neat. Yeah, didn't know that. You learn something new every day. Well, Thomas, that was good. Well done on the wrestling. Now, there are some teams in the basketball world, both boys and girls, that are wrestling for that for that state championship.
I mean, I think we would have a whole bunch of boys right now since that one's just kicking off.
It's just now kicking off.
Today, I think, is the first day for boys playoffs.
So I wanted to ask.
Yeah, they were recording. Yeah, this will obviously come out the second
Monday.
day of the boys playoffs.
So I wanted to ask kind of who are your favorites coming into this, because my ride or die, I'm sticking with them. Wagner. They're 30-5 on the year. They're riding, what is it, like it's more than 14-game win streak, right?
And let's talk some Wagner.
Yeah.
Because, we've talked about this. This program, this school's athletic department has been remarkable over the last 4 years, especially the last 2. And the boys program has done a good chunk of that, kind of leading the charge. If you go back to 2017, spring of 2017, the end of the 2016-2017 school year, you saw this boys basketball program play for the UIL 6A state championship, ended up losing to a really strong Cypress Falls team. I was there. I remember that game really well. And then 2 years later, last year, they obviously played for the UIL 5A state championship, also lost that game. But, between the last, if you include this current season, what they've done so far, and then the previous 3 years, they have a 128-21 record as of our recording.
Wow.
So that's like 3 30-plus win years. I believe another one was like 29 wins. So a great program. Obviously, there's a reason why you're riding with them. There's a reason why they probably have the San Antonio area's best shot to go super far in the basketball playoffs, at least boys, just because of what they've done the last 4 years. One of their top contributors was on last year's roster. He is still a contributor for this program. So would not be surprised if Wagner got their way back to the state Final Four, possibly a state title game.
I would be shocked if they didn't get at least to the state championship game. Now, winning it, I don't know, but they're my ride or die, Thomas. If they don't go that far, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm looking back at their schedule now. They are, I said 14-game winning streak. I was mistaken. It's actually a 12-game winning streak. But going back to January 21st, 24th, and 28th, they played San Antonio McCollum, San Antonio Memorial, and John F. Kennedy. And they won those games on the 21st, beating McCollum 103-64. San Antonio Memorial, just a couple days later, on the 24th, they won 102-42. And then finally, they beat JFK 111-38.
Wow.
Now, normally, whenever you and I talk about these things, we'll talk about them in the Pick Ems, and we'll give us a score differential, points for, points against, and we'll kind of pit defense and offense. And if you have a great offense, chances are you don't have a good defense. You're just outscoring people. Mm-hmm. They're outscoring people by 70 points. It's insane. Now those are cherry picked because I just found the 3 100 point games they scored in a row, but I mean they're not allowing more than 60 points scored on them very often, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they're putting up 80, 70, 80, 90, 100 points. They're my ride or die for a reason, dude.
Well, another team in Judson ISD that's really heated up for the playoffs is Converse Judson. And the Rockets, they are riding a 15-game win streak going in the playoffs. Obviously, they are state ranked just like San Antonio Brandeis is in 6A in the state. And, both of them probably would love to meet themselves in a week and a half for a regional final. They are on opposite sides of the bracket. Probably with teams like Westlake being in the mix, that probably is not that likely for the two to meet. But, man, that'd be really cool to have them two possibly down the line meet each other for a regional championship, have a spot at state. But some other programs, obviously San Antonio Harlan's had a great 2-year run in athletics, boys basketball, back-to-back 22-win seasons, back-to-back district championships. They won a playoff game in their first ever varsity season last year. Fredericksburg, they've had a great run over the past decade, 32-1 entering this year's playoffs. Keep an eye on them in the hills. But also you can never forget about the military schools. Mm-hmm. And I know they're not like TMI where they're trained to be military. They're just obviously on the military bases. But you got San Antonio Cole, you got Randolph, you got San Antonio Stacy. All have had great regular seasons. We all know, about 30 years ago when Shaq led Cole to the 3A state title. But their success in basketball doesn't just stay with that. I mean, Cole made it to the state semis last year. Randolph played for a state title back in 2015. And, Stacy, they're 23-9 entering the 2A playoffs. And both Cole and Randolph are ranked statewide, not only ranked statewide, but ranked in the top 6 in that classification in the state. So keep an eye on them. They usually make deep runs. In the San Antonio area, obviously some of those are some of the top teams. I know our producer Josh wanted us to mention Pleasanton, obviously another strong program. Dalton Hobbs is a big-time player for that program, not just for the basketball team, but obviously what he did in football. So there's a lot of really good teams in multiple classifications in the San Antonio area.
By the way, Pleasanton just won tonight on Monday, and they're ready in the second round. So
you don't have to worry about them. They're on it. They're on their way. Yeah, Well, I just want to mention that Cole. You mentioned Cole basketball. They're on an 18-game win streak right now. I mean, cruising. They cruise through district. They're undefeated so far, and their final game is obviously tonight. So we'll kind of see tomorrow, against Gateway College Preparatory. But we'll kind of see how they finish off and continue into their playoffs. One team that we haven't mentioned, if we did, it was very brief, is Austin Westlake.
Yeah, we haven't even got to the Austin. You're welcome to kick that.
Yeah, I just want to know, because as much as we talk about Wagner, and like I said, they're my ride or die. We gave the stats on how they're doing this year. Is there more of a sure team to win the state championship than Austin Westlake this year?
I think there's a lot of similarities between them and Austin Vandegrift, but I do agree with the fact that I think as similar as Westlake and Vandegrift look, Westlake, you would have to give them the edge based off of what they've done over the last couple of years. This time of year, multiple regional final appearances. They made it to the state semifinals 2 years ago. I know last year they would have gone past the regional quarterfinals, but Will Baker, who's now at Texas, he got hurt in the middle of the playoffs. So, but you also have to acknowledge what KJ Adams has done for this program. He's grown up a lot. He's a junior. He's a big-time recruit. I know last year was his first year. He's just still kind of finding his footing at Westlake. The year before, he was at Los Angeles Pistol School. So for what he's done, especially with the strong senior class they had last year, multiple guys who went to the Division I college basketball level, I think, based off of what they've done since Coach Lucero took over prior to the 2015-2016 season, but also with a big-time recruit, but also a big-time leader on the court in KJ Adams, I definitely see Westlake making a big-time charge in this year's playoffs.
I mean, go ahead.
They're getting challenged right now.
What's the score?
As we speak, Steele is leading Westlake 39-38 in the third quarter.
Really?
Ooh,
so
that's an interesting.
Gotta love sports on a podcast night when we can check the scores.
as we're thank God for that though, because we are recording. So we could be like, oh, Westlake's going to be the sure thing, and then tomorrow they lose. We find out that they lose, but to speak to that point though, Josh, is they're not a very offensive team necessarily, but I'm looking at their schedule right now, and they have played some very tight games. Now, they're coming off a win from Austin where they won 66-38, but several of their games are, like 69-65, 62-55, 57-53, 53-40. I mean, they're just methodical in how they're winning, and I think that because they're winning these close games like that,
it's going to help them.
That helps them in a night like tonight where they're down 38-39. I would be very very surprised if they lose this one.
I will keep you posted.
Yeah, keep me posted. Like we should finish the show with the score there because I'm curious.
When I mentioned Vandegrift before, even though I do expect Westlake, and we'll see what happens tonight, but I do expect Westlake to go further than Vandegrift. Vandegrift still had a great year. Obviously, Greg Brown's been healthy this year, more healthy than he was last year. I knew he's missed some time this year, but nothing compared to what he did in 2018-2019. He's a double-double machine. Both years he's been that. This is a program best 31-2 regular season record that they produced so far this year. Had their first ever district victory, at least for this program, at the varsity level. So congrats to the Vipers. But I want to keep an eye on UIL 18-5A.
All right.
Because not only does it have Manor, who's a big-time program, they got a big-time recruit in Jamal Shetty, who's going to Houston. They also have junior Augustine Arroyo. They had the experience of making it to the state semis last year, but Hutto's been a great story. They won the district. They weren't the favorite to win the district. Obviously, based off of what Manor did last year, Manor was the favorite coming in to win that district, and Hutto came in, and this is really how far Hutto's come. They had 5 consecutive losing record seasons earlier, like in the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then they break that with a winning record non-playoff season. And then the last 3, they've had 3 consecutive playoff appearances. And this has been by far their best year in a long time. And, for them to basically go on, and I believe they won over 30 games this year. I don't have it at the top of my head, but or right in front of me. But Hutto, 31-3, excuse me. Great year for the Hippos. John Pierre Sanders, I know I've mentioned him before, big-time leader. He's a scoring machine. So keep an eye on not only Manor, but Hutto, because, this has been a great 2-year run. We've talked about this for this athletic program at Hutto. And this basketball team, I'm calling Orange Crush. Because, man, they are really finding a way to beat opponents.
I love it, dude. I love it. You're always high on Hutto, and this is a good nickname for him. That's good stuff. So keep an eye out for
Orange
sounds
Crush.
like Orange Crush from Hutto. So we've got a couple teams to watch here.
And one more team out of Austin.
Go ahead.
It's smaller classifications. They're always making deep runs. Thorndale, another kind of great athletic program across the board. But for this boys basketball team, between 2014 and last year, they made it between the regional quarterfinal round and the state final. A couple of those times, like they made it to the state semis in back-to-back years, 2 and 3 years ago. Obviously, the other years they changed playoff positions. But, for them to basically have guys that were on some of those runs, this will be a team to watch, especially in 2A.
That is okay. Good stuff. Way to finish on a good note there. I like listening to some of those smaller classifications. We do talk big classification quite a bit, so throwing a little bit of that in there is always nice. Now, tonight is a big night, not just for boys basketball, but for girls basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And do you want to start this on 6A, or should we start on a lower classification?
Let's start in the higher classification.
All right. So the game that I'm thinking about is Westlake at Reagan. Josh, do we maybe have a score for some of these?
I can check.
But Westlake at Reagan. Now, these are the regional quarterfinals, and this is a particularly good game because these two teams are within a win and loss from each other. So Westlake is 30-6 on the year, and Reagan is 29-7 on the year.
But they have played earlier this year,
and
back in November. It was a long time ago, but the interesting thing is Westlake won by a significant margin in that game. So they should be the favorite. Now, the interesting thing is, on the flip side, Westlake has lost in this round the last 2 years. So as good as they've been, this could be kind of that Achilles heel for them. But I think in the end, Westlake should find a way to win this game.
You think so? Yeah, it's one of those things, too, though, is that Reagan's seen them before. And I think that Reagan has figured some things out since then. They're currently riding a 17-game win streak, and they're 16-6 in a neutral site where they're playing at a neutral site right now. So I'm not going to count them out, but I would favor Westlake just on the kind of caliber of season that they've had, and of course previous experience tells me.
Well, another reason to really like Westlake this year, I actually saw them beat San Antonio Clark this past Friday at your alma mater, Smithson Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've talked about this Texas commit Shea Hawley, Texas State commit Presley Bennett. They have some other key players like Bailey Chenoweth. But there was a kind of a surprise this past Friday, and I think it just shows how much depth is on this roster and how much depth is in this Westlake senior class, because not only do you have them three, but you also have Emily Seegers, who scored 13 of her game-high 20 points in the fourth quarter to help wrap up that win. And, obviously Bennett had a big game as well. 10 of her 19 came in the opening quarter. Holly did struggle a little bit. I believe she only had 5 points in that game. But it was neat to see other people step up, because that's the concern with teams like Austin Vandergrift boys basketball is the Vipers may not have the depth, around Greg Brown to sustain a really deep run. But Westlake girls should be able to sustain a long playoff run with that type of group. So keep an eye on this group. This roster keeps growing, and there was even a freshman for Westlake that really played significant time and contributed well for him as well. So this is a strong group, and I'm excited to see how far they can go.
Well, I have an update on the other side of the bracket. It looks like Vandegrift and Vista Ridge were facing off in the quarterfinal for the other side, and looks as though Vista Ridge has come away with a win, 47-39. That was posted at about 8:19.
Just so y'all know, Westlake and Reagan play Tuesday.
Oh, they play tomorrow.
Correct.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a Monday night game. So we still have time on that one. But it does look like Vista Ridge defeated Vandegrift. Maybe we get a confirmation on that?
Vandegrift or Vista Ridge?
Vista Ridge defeated Vandegrift 47-39.
We've talked about them. I mean, they got some big time ballers.
Aren't they your ride or die?
Yeah, I picked them. Yeah,
we did it at the same time
in the season.
Yeah, we did it at the same time. It was you had the Vista Ridge Rangers and I had Wagner Thunderbirds.
You got Victoria Baker, you got AJ Moreau, you got multiple players. I mean, that was something before the girls' playoffs started. I talked about just how great of a basketball town that Cedar Park is. I mean, if you think about, especially girls, I mean, Cedar Park is strong. Cedar Park Vista Ridge is strong. I know the Austin Spurs have won a couple league championships. It's just a great basketball town up there.
Yeah, it is. Another in the area is Judson playing O'Connor. I don't have a score update on that one, but that should be. I mean, I'm thinking Judson, right?
Vista Ridge did beat Vanderbilt.
That's confirmed.
State Final Four appearances the last couple of years, and obviously they won the state championship last year. Judson did.
It's an exciting time, man.
It is. There's a lot of great programs. We've talked about some of the 6A teams. What's interesting is at least 5A Region 4 going down in classification. You have 4 San Antonio area teams still left, and you don't have any Austin area teams. So you don't have
San Antonio
left.
Yeah.
But you got Wagner, you got Tybee, you got Veterans Memorial, you got Bernie Champion. Cool to have a couple of San Antonio area matchups before they get to the regional tournament this weekend. Yeah,
that Wagner Tybee game has caught my eye. We'll kind of obviously want to keep an eye on that, and I'm not seeing. It looks like they play today, but of course that could be misleading. But you're right. I mean, a lot of good San Antonio teams, and it is a little interesting that the Austin area kind of got blanked there.
And then I don't think you've mentioned Cedar Park yet, have you?
Well, I mean, we talked about them a little bit about how great the town is, but yeah, you're right. I mean, they're playing Magnolia West in the regional quarterfinal round this week, and
tomorrow, 7:30.
It's obviously a big time test for them, but I think based off of what we've talked about, they'll have a shot to continue to march on.
Moving down yet another classification, we've already mentioned one of these teams in this show in particular, and it's Fredericksburg playing Liberty Hill. Both teams are seemingly pretty evenly matched. I'm looking at Fredericksburg though to get the edge on this one and potentially play the winner of Devine and Jones, which I think they'd end up playing Jones, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Beeville Jones has had a great couple years in basketball, and but yeah, I mean, Fredericksburg, not just in girls but guys. I mean, we talked about it before. Great basketball year for that school. I know obviously Liberty Hill. They had a great athletic year last year.
Incredible.
They know how to definitely produce lengthy playoff runs.
I'm pretty sure there was not a show that we had last year that didn't mention Liberty Hill in some way. Where we had Westlake, Lake Travis, and Liberty Hill. They were staples.
Exactly. It's kind of like this year with like Hutto. Like they've kind of become that school this year.
Orange Crush.
But hey, I mean, let's move on in the show. Obviously, that's a lot of great basketball and wrestling coverage. But I know one of the things that we usually do is our From the Bench. None this week. They'll be back next week. I already have that lined up this week, so stay tuned for that. But we'll let producer Josh take the lead on our Pick Ems segment.
Yeah.
Thanks, Thomas. So this week on the Pick 'em segment, of course, as always, now brought to you by Hill Country Indoor. Evan will talk to you a little bit about that later in the show. Let's talk about the record. So last week y'all both went 3-2. So run through the results real quick. Boys lacrosse, Austin Anderson beat Alamo Heights in a very close game, 7-6. Girls soccer, Pflugerville beat Leander Rouse 4-1. Boys basketball, Kerrville-Tivy beat Seguin 50-41. Boys basketball, Alamo Heights beat San Antonio Sam Houston 59-49. And girls soccer, Georgetown beat Hutto 3-0. So no ties. I did say, hey, let's maybe go with Georgetown or maybe go with tie, and you listened. And so you both got a loss on that one. Like I said last week or 2 weeks ago, both Evan, you went 3-2. Thomas, you went 3-2, which means Thomas, you're still 2 games behind. Evan, your overall record stands at 23-7. Thomas, your overall record stands at 21-9. So, as the playoffs heats up, so does our pick'ems. Very tightly contested, and we got some good ones to pick this week. So first game on the docket, we got boys lacrosse, Austin McCollum at Austin St. Andrews Episcopal School.
McCallum, San Antonio McCollum.
Well, there you go. Hey, sometimes you just pronounce them wrong. So there you go. At Austin St. Andrews Episcopal School. Thomas, who you got in this one?
Obviously, this is a big early season district game. It's interesting with lacrosse, because it is in the Texas High School Lacrosse League. You're going to get some privates and public schools taking on each other, and these are 2 district mates. Obviously, St. Andrews is off to a strong start. Bowie has struggled earlier on in this season, and you also have to acknowledge that St. Andrews did beat Austin McCallum last season, I believe. So, they have played some 14-4 last year. So, they beat them before. And they also are off to a stronger start, so I got the Highlanders in this one.
I, too, will go St. Andrews on this one. You just mentioned, and it didn't sway me, but you just mentioned the 14-4. Now, that is from one year to the next, but just considering their momentum, I'm with you.
For sure.
Moving on, girls soccer, we got San Antonio Harlan at Uvalde. Evan, who you got in this one? I think this actually is Uvalde's first time in the pick'ems. Uvalde Coyotes.
I think you're right.
Are you gonna pick them their first time here?
No, I'm not. I'm actually gonna go Harlan here. The swaying the decision came down to goals for versus goals against, and it was very glaring. And Harlan has scored 66 goals and given up 5. So, I like the odds of that.
Plus, you also have to acknowledge that Harlan is leading that district. This will be
the rest of the argument.
This will be like obviously, a road test for the Hawks, but I've talked about it. Harlan's off to a great athletic tradition over the last 2 varsity seasons, and I just believe that this is one of the better girls soccer teams in the San Antonio area. So, I got the Hawks as well.
Yeah.
All right, next up, baseball. That's right. We're doing baseball now, too.
It's that time of year. It's exciting,
right,
man.
We got Hayes at Kerrville-Tivy. Who you got, Thomas?
Man, this is tough because, both these teams actually enter the season in our VYPE preseason rankings. In the Austin area of Hayes in there, San Antonio area of Kerrville-Tivy. But I think when you look at it, Tivy, they have a little bit more upside going this season, so I got the Antlers.
Man.
Plus, it's at home, too.
I really, really wanted to split this one, but no, I'm going to go Tivy as well. Chris Russ, 6 years, 6th year as head coach for the Antlers, and last year, the Antlers are also bringing back several returning starters who are, second team All-State with Colton Drake. We've got first team All-District with Travis White. Several other first team All-District. Cole Myers, Cole Mixon was second team. Colson Abel was also first team All-District. So we've got a lot of solid returning starters coming back, and I think this could be a big year for Kerrville.
Yeah, great choice right there.
All right, moving on. Softball, Thorndale at LaGrange. Evan, who you going with?
Man, I'm going to go with Thorndale on this one. They're 1-1-1, and so just those numbers seem lucky. But also, they're kind of finding a rhythm. They're scoring a lot, and LaGrange has given up 16 total runs and only scored 4. So they're going to need their offense to come roaring back. Now they are only 2 games in, so this could prove me absolutely wrong, but I like Thorndale's chances here.
Man, I was really hoping that you were going to go LaGrange because I'm also going Thorndale.
We're not going to split.
I think when you look at this, LaGrange is higher classified, and I know both these teams came off of a significant playoff run last year, but Thorndale, they were experiencing a heartbreak in that state final. It was a back-and-forth game. I believe they lost in extra innings in the state championship against another Central Texas team. And for me, I know they lost some key starters to graduation, but this is a key game for this group. If they're able to beat a significant, program, regular playoff team in a higher classification, to me, that can kind of take you a long way, so I also got Thorndale as well.
All right.
Even though it is in LaGrange, I got Thorndale.
We come down to the last game.
And finally, boys soccer, Schertz Clemens at New Braunfels Canyon. Thomas, who you got?
Remember?
No.
All right. Okay. It's going to be thoroughly disappointing when you hear that I'm going to go with the Clemens Buffaloes, who are 15-1 on the year and are boasting a 6-0 undefeated record when playing away, and they are playing at Canyon, who is 3-2-2 at home.
This
is obviously a district test.
Please tell me you're going to go with a tie.
Come on, go for
that
it.
Would
you're behind by
everything.
2, Thomas. You're behind by 2.
I'm going with a Clemens victory.
Clemens victory. So you're going to go. We didn't split at all this week. You're not even going to go for a tie?
No, because Clemens is the clear favorite in this one.
But it's a tie.
I know, but I am going for the prediction that I foresee.
All right.
I believe that Clemens is going to win this one.
Since this would be very anticlimactic overall, I'm going to give y'all 5 seconds to look at the schedule and make a change to any of your games if you so choose to make that change.
I'm not the one that's behind, dude. I think what we should do is maybe predict a score. Like, how about on this game, whoever's closest to the score gets it?
No, 5-0 is fine, but I'm going to give you the option to change y'all's mind.
He's saying
I understand what he's saying.
Both he and I
understand.
Different prediction
I understand what he's saying.
Clemens and Waffles game.
But let's just go with
no.
Y'all can change y'all's mind or not change y'all's mind.
All right. Any ones you want to change your mind on?
I really don't.
I'm pretty set.
All right, there you go. So a little anticlimactic, but hey, we'll try to get it where it's a little different next week. So
I really thought you were going to go LaGrange. I really thought you were going to.
No.
Wow. Okay.
No, I was. They're not heating up yet.
I know, but 4-2. I thought I was going to be the rebel. I thought I was going to be one that was going against the grain.
Yeah, well, I just don't have the games to go off of yet. We're still so early that it's kind of like,
Well, we both went, or who knows if we both went 5-0, but regardless, we both picked all 5 of them
I see
correctly.
what you just tried to do, though.
Go ahead and get us out of here, Thomas.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Obviously, it was a great show. If you're welcome to follow us on social media. VYPE ATX, VYPE SATX on Twitter, VYPE Texas on Facebook and Instagram. Also, you can go check us out. All our content on VYPE.com. My name is Thomas Bingham. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TexanHN.
You can find me on Twitter at Evan_BuyerUT. A lot cooler than me, though, is the place I work, and we actually brought the Pick Ems segment to you, and it's the Hill Country Indoor Sports and Fitness from Bee Cave, Texas, out in West Austin. It's 140,000 square feet of just fitness fun, and one thing that I like whenever I walk through the facility is everybody who's there is trying to improve on something. You know, that's what you do whenever you're out there working out. And if you're taking a class, a yoga class, a spin class, you're trying to improve something about yourself, whether that's your self-esteem, whether that's your look, or whether you're just trying to stay in shape.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. And you're doing that, you're improving your family and being there together, practicing something. You know, we got pickleball. And if you've never heard of pickleball, you need to look that up because that is something serious.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it until you told me about it last year.
It's crazy, and it's actually a lot of fun. I've been playing on Thursdays,
Nice.
and that gets you going. When you're playing one-on-one, that's a cardio workout, but that's something I need to improve. So, you walk through the facility, everybody's trying to improve something, and we're just trying to improve the community, help improve families, help improve, sports. You can learn so much of life principles through sports, and that's kind of what we're about. So you should check us out at hillcountryindoor.com. We've got a lot of cool things coming up, and I'm excited about them.
The thing I really like about Hill Country Door is it really reminds me of kind of the YMCA I grew up in, but it's like obviously greatly enhanced, what HCI is. I mean, it's a family place, y'all can all kind of work out together, or not together necessarily, but like, if you want to go, do one thing, someone else does another, there's like a lot of great activities, but also opportunities to kind of keep yourself in shape.
And you can do them as a family. Actually, kind of what you're bringing up, there's a specific example. I was watching the volleyball league, youth league, and somebody new who had never been there. She was watching her daughter, and she's like, but I'm just kind of sitting here watching, and I noticed that you have a running track up top. Like, can I not go run and watch my daughter play at the same time? And I was like, no, you can absolutely do that. And she joined and is now upstairs, and she's running around the track or on the elliptical that overlooks the court, and her daughter's practicing, and she's able to do two things at once: watch her daughter, get a good workout, and her daughter's enjoying herself at practice and learning something about volleyball. So that was a really cool thing when she told me, I joined, this is what I do. And it was awesome. That's what we're about.
Track that y'all have. I mean, obviously, like, you are so high in the building, but like, and so I think there's different levels too, right?
Yeah, it's like a stair step.
You kind of run up, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's a good deal. So check us out. Like I said, that's much cooler than I am. So
have you told them your social media handle?
I did. Yeah, my Twitter.
You can follow me at JoshWack13 on Twitter and Instagram, and then more importantly, you can follow VYPEU. On Twitter, it's VYPEU_A. On Instagram, it is VYPEU. So go to VYPEU.com to read more about it. And if you're a student interested in applying, you can apply right there, and I'll get back to you once I look over your stuff. By the way, unless something crazy happens, it looks like Westlake is going to hold on. They pulled off. They're up by 10 right now, so pulled on away. So we'll leave you guys on that. Thomas, go ahead and get us out of here.
Yeah, and don't forget to sign up for VYPE Campus, get extra coverage for your school district school. So we'll talk to y'all next week. Bingham, Beyer, Producer Josh signing off.